Alright, guys, it's Monday, August 8th, 2022. Just another update for fall camp. Day 2, 3, and 4. Gave y'all a day 1 update. So, this latest practice was a little bit sluggish, according to reports. That they didn't come out quite as crisp with as much energy. And that could be intentional and it could be natural, but that's the case with anybody that's ever practices sports. I don't think it's noteworthy. The writers like to say it is, but it's really not. I mean, again, I don't think it has anything to do with the energy on the team. Every staff that's been here has had practices that were lethargic or low energy, and again, that could be just the start of drills, just getting into it, not warmed up, and their blood's not flowing. So nothing to be concerned about for me. Few players, no one noteworthy in non-contact. Tight end Jonathan Odom,
in a quarter mile,
one of the kickers. Basin Road. So again, nothing major as far as injuries go. Richard is still nursing a lower leg injury, so he's going to be out, I guess, maybe another day. He should be back by the middle of this week practicing. I think they're just trying to be extra cautious with him. I do like the depth with Austin Barber at that tackle spot. So I think we're okay there, but we definitely need Guriage to start the season, at least start the season with. We can't afford to start the season, missing any starters on the offensive line. Biggest reports out of camp on the offensive line. Haven't heard some of the names that I'd hoped to hear about that have been there for a while. Haven't heard nothing about Braun or Ethan White. Everybody raves and reviews about Cyrus Torrence. Everybody just says he's a straight-up dog and a beast on the offensive line, just a man-child, a man amongst boys out there throwing people around. I think he wins just about every rep he takes. I mean, this guy's going to the NFL next year, no doubt about it, 100%. But he's going to be an asset for the Gators offense. I mean, we're just going to run the ball behind him probably every play in his direction or his side of the line. So I think there's definitely going to be a very much uneven strength on that offensive line. I think whatever side he's on is going to be a massive strength. And teams are going to key in on that. They're going to pick up on that. The first couple games are going to be nice because they're not going to know, which side is what and who's the strength and all of this. But as time goes on, teams will pick up on which side we like to run to and which side's the strength, which means, hey, mix it up, misdirection play, stuff like that's how you fix that issue, and they'll adjust to it. But, yeah, so Cyrus Torrence is doing really well. Again, I've heard the depth, still lacking in the 2s and 3s on the offensive line, so that's developing. The defense had the upper hand in this last practice. I heard they won in the last couple practices. I've heard the defensive line actually did well and won a lot of the reps. That's good. I would like to hear that, knowing the offensive line is experienced and going to be a strength this season, hopefully. We were last year. Offensive line wasn't bad running the ball. So I do believe that's a good sign for the defensive line to be winning some reps and being successful. Anthony Richardson had a pick six. Don't know who picked the ball off or who the pick six was, but I read that. He did throw a pick six, and yeah, the defense was letting him know about it. So nothing, that's going to happen. I mean, there ain't no perfect quarterback out there. You're going to throw a pick six every now and then. You like for it not to be a pick six. That hurts a little bit, but you're going to have some interceptions. He threw a lot last year, so I mean, just that is noteworthy, to think about going into the season that he has already thrown a pick in practice. That was a touchdown. So, but again, I'm not gonna worry about that. I got full confidence in supporting Anthony until the season starts. Until he proves otherwise. Last year I'm not holding any of that against him. He's still developing very much, and according to all reports, he has looked very clean with his throws, very accurate, very sharp. In all the warm-up sessions that the media's watched, he's looked really well. Insider notes saying he's doing really well, not struggling at all. He's a clear number one guy. Haven't heard anything about Kitna or his backup quarterbacks. Haven't heard nothing about Max Brown, which would be nice to kind of get a few notes on how he's looked, at least just throwing the ball and stuff. So haven't heard anything about him. I'm trying to think. See, running back. So Jaluk's run some drills with the running backs, and they've been real sluggish, kind of timid. not running through reps. He's really had to get on those guys, for not going full speed, not going hard through the drills. It's not really, I haven't heard much, about the two starters. It's mostly been actually Naquan Wright, but he's coming off an injury, so I think they're just trying to push him extra hard and get him back into game shape. I think he's a little out of shape, honestly, and I just don't see him contributing as much as what people are saying. Maybe in the passing game as the season goes on, but he's behind the other guys for sure. ETN looks really good for a freshman running back. He's in good shape, and he actually ripped off a long touchdown run down the sideline and had everybody hyped up. So I like that kid, man. I'm excited about him as a running back at the University of Florida. He was a blue-chip 4-star. I actually think he ends up having the better career between him and Citizen that we missed on in the last couple cycles. So I'm looking forward to him being on the field. I don't know if he'll get on the field this year. I'm sure they'll give him a couple reps. They like to have 3 backs. I actually think he might rep, probably not at first, but I think eventually he's going to rep ahead of Naquan Wright. And he's just a big kid. He's like a bowling ball. He's a good running back, low center of gravity. So, yeah, as far as running backs goes, those guys have looked good, catching the ball at the backfield. Offensive line, we talked about that. Receiver, apparently Henderson, Jaquavion Frazier's has looked good in practice. Justin Shorter's looked really good. Haven't heard much on Dejon Reynolds or Trey Burke, but those other guys have looked good. Man, I'm missing somebody here. I heard somebody was... Oh, Ricky Purcell. He's turning heads in practice. Apparently, he's looked amazing. Explosive. He's day one starter in the slot probably for us. Reading those names off for me really does kind of concern me a little bit as far as our talent at wide receiver, because I feel like we're going to be good at taking the top off of defense as far as the deep ball. I think we're going to hit a lot of center middle field deep balls, sideline deep balls, up the sideline. I can see us getting a lot of passes over the season like that. I can also see us being consistent, catching the ball, moving the chains, getting first downs. I just don't think you're going to see a lot of yard after catch, a lot of yak. There's nobody that I think is going to catch a ball at 10 yards and turn it into 50. A lot of big, linky, possession-type receivers, I feel like, are what's on this roster. Henderson's fast, but he's more of a deep threat to me. The one guy is Ricky Purcell. I really think that's going to be our guy. That's going to be the yak guy. And I think he will provide that for us. But, again, you can't just have one guy that's capable of that. They're going to key in on him and stop that. So, do I think that's going to hold the offense back? Probably a little bit. But if the run game's as successful as it can be, that'll clear that up and take care of some of that issue. Not totally, but at some point. So that's about all I have, guys. The defense, I've heard, Ventrell Miller has looked kind of rough, which we all, already know that he's not a good linebacker. I mean, everybody's hyped him up because he's a senior and, extra year and all this. There's a reason he didn't go to the NFL, I mean, he just wasn't good enough. He missed his gap. Some of the younger linebackers have looked better than him. Derek Wingo's looked better than him. Those seniors are good for leadership and a voice on the team, but him and Amari Burney are a major liability back there. I personally don't see them, maybe because of lack of depth, but if we've got the talent behind them with the younger guys, I don't see them being starting linebackers the whole year. They're going to be heavily rotated, and I think Derek Wingo is going to be the guy that we're going to rely on most. I heard he is really turning heads and growing into that role, that leadership role. In his assignment football, he's getting consistent now. The DBs have looked good. Avery Helm. Devin Moore has actually basically jumped the entire depth chart and may be day one starter across from Jason Marshall. He is extremely fast. They're saying he might be the fastest kid on the team, which I had no idea he was that quick. But as a prospect, I mean, the kid was a blue chip 4-star cornerback, that Notre Dame was after hard. And we basically won that battle, at the last minute. And, so I'm happy he's a Gator. He was a huge pickup in Billy's first class, which I think is a better class than what a lot of people, think and gave him credit for. I like that transition class. Even though it was 17th in the country, I think it was, and on three, it was a top 15 class. So I think that class is definitely going to provide a boost this season, and it already is showing up in cornerback Devin Moore. So look for it. Don't be surprised if you see him on the field rotating with somebody in the ones, in those first couple games until he proves otherwise. And that's about all I got, guys. Rashad Torrance has looked consistent at safety from everything I've heard. And that's about it. So I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Go Gators.